CHGO White Sox podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome into Studio A of our CHGO offices in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. And alongside me, as always, is the full CHGO White Sox crew. We got Vinnie Duber, the far left. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. The man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. Vinny's got 2 brand new articles up on all CHGO. One we're going to talk about a little bit today. Rick Hahn had some comments about the 2023 roster. We'll delve into that audio and video later on. You can also look at replacements for Josh Harrison. We talked about that on yesterday's episode, but he gave you 10 names to look out for. At least
more than 10, like a bonus. It's like 10 plus.
It's like 10 organizations and then like 15 names in the actual article.
See, you get more bang for your buck.
And I'm pretty sure it's unlocked too, right?
It is unlocked. You go ahead, whether you're a member, whether you're not a member, you can go check it out for free over there on at allchgo.com. Some edits might need to be made after some late breaking news this evening from involving Colton Wong, but there's more late breaking news that means we're not really going to talk that much about Colton Wong. So there you go.
What was the Colton Wong news?
Well, the Brewers had a team option on Colton Wong, and they picked it up.
Okay,
so
all right,
Colton
good.
Wong will not be a free agent.
I did miss that.
Oh,
so, all right.
there you go.
So, no Colton Wong. Goodbye, Colton Wong. It's been nice for a couple of days. It was nice to think about you.
He could switch over from the free agent list to
the trade list. Sure, that's very true.
That's true. All right, so maybe we'll add him to that. Maybe we'll give up Gavin Sheets because everyone wants to give up Gavin Sheets. But the breaking news...
They kind of need Gavin Sheets all of a sudden, don't they?
That's true, because as Buster Olney reports from ESPN, A.J. Pollock is declining his player option for the 2023 season. He receives a $5 million buyout instead and now becomes a free agent. I wasn't too shocked, but these two were. Herb, why don't you start us off? What were your thoughts when you saw that Buster Olney tweet pop up?
Happy as hell. It was awesome. I expected A.J. Pollock to say, okay, $13 million is good. Maybe if I didn't like the White Sox, fine. But $13 million in the pocket will be great to play next year. And if they want to trade me, they don't want me anymore, cool. I still get my $13 million. Now he has $5 million in pocket. He has to go and search out $8 million from another team. That's going to be really difficult to handle because, yes, he did have a good year versus left-handers, but no one's looking to pay a guy $8 million just to platoon in the outfield, and his outfield defense wasn't that spectacular. So it's going to be really tough for him to go out in the market and find that deal, but I guarantee Rick Hahn, Kenny Williams are up there high five. It's like $5 million to get rid of A.J. Pollock? Bet. Let's do that.
I've got 8 numbers for you.
Okay.
1, 3, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I would expect that A.J. Pollock would have liked to have all of those zeros after the 1 and the 3, but it turned out not to be the case. So $8 million less than he seemed to have yesterday, Herb, is what we were saying before the show. Mm-hmm. And that is the surprising element of this, because say whatever you want about a baseball perspective, from a business perspective, from a money perspective, that's a lot of money. And to turn down guaranteed money always strikes as odd. We always joke about how Leury Garcia has as much money as he does. But if the White Sox were willing to offer it, of course you take it, right? The Dodgers, and then the White Sox via the Dodgers, had offered A.J. Pollock $13 million for next year, and he turned down 8 of it. So that is odd to me. But from a White Sox perspective, what have we been talking about all this time about how that roster seemed stuck in position, not much room to make change? Guess what? It just got easier to make a little change because we assumed that A.J. Pollock was going to make himself part of that outfield situation. That is no longer the case on the south side.
Yeah, that belt loop got notched just a little bit less. That's just a little bit more breathing room there. Should we immediately talk about what it means for Adam Engel's future? I'm kidding. A.J. Pollock's going to be...
I was ready to give you a serious answer, but I guess there you go.
A.J. Pollock's going to be 35 in December. Hey, maybe Adam Engel comes back, but I think there's bigger fish out there in the sea. One of them is already in the organization. And we'll talk a little bit about Rick Hahn's comments, but he did talk about internal growth. I think immediately if we're going to look at players that could be on the roster next year, my mind immediately goes to Oscar Colas. I don't think there is a reason why he should not be on the roster. And I think I have more thoughts about A.J. Pollock declining the option, but I immediately want to get to who might fill A.J. Pollock's role here on this roster. So I think Oscar Colas is definitely a name we have to throw out there immediately. But is the big fish, a possibility? I know AJ Pollock only frees up $8 million, but you already got baseball toss saying sign Judge. I mean, can we get out of hand here, or is it Brandon Nimmo only that I'm able to get excited about, or possibly excited?
No,
about?
You can't as a White Sox fan put your mind to a person of Judge's ilk, because that hasn't happened. Just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean it won't, but that is a 1 to 2% possibility of that happening. As far as your Oscar Colas thing, I would love for him to win the job outright, but also, as we said before, I would want him to get more minor league at bats, see some struggles, see some different pitches, exactly what you need to do in the minor leagues, and then if he's killing the minor leagues, come on up. It's all good. But for next year, I cannot have Oscar Colas break camp with the team and say, you know what, let's just go with this young player and see how he sinks or swims in right field in his first major league season while we're trying to compete for a championship. I got to have some more surety there, where now you have Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, and maybe Gavin Sheets as your projected outfield right now. That's probably not great. I would like to have Eloy Jimenez out of that left field mix and go and get another person that is a major league left fielder. People are already saying Tyler Naquin and other people, and one person always talking about Jesse Winker, my guy who I want to trade for. He had an offseason, and I think his only one offseason that he's ever had was his 1 year in Seattle. I would love to acquire him now. He's a little rough in left field. I think he's in that Gavin Sheets, Andrew Vaughn area where he cannot really field at left field, but his bat plays. His bat played in Cincinnati, and I think that would be a very nice addition to the White Sox if they can get somebody of that ilk. But Oscar Colas, if he murders in spring training, bring him up, but also that is a last resort option for me if I'm thinking going into next season with Oscar Colas as my starting right fielder.
I'd be very surprised to see Colas as on the opening day roster, just because the way that the White Sox have operated, I guess you can say, since the rebuild started, when it comes to these prospects, is always, at least this is what Rick Hahn has always said, when the prospect comes up has nothing to do with what's going on at the big league level. And I think for them to say, well, we could use an outfielder and we got a guy down in AAA, let's go ahead and use him. That's not really how they've worked. And I think that there would be no reason for them to shift gears right now into an unknown. You know what I mean? It would be one thing if this was just a slam dunk, but you guys saw when Eloy Jimenez first came up, when Luis Robert first came up, there were struggles to be had, and those guys were those slam dunk can't miss guys. I don't know if Oscar Colas is in that realm right now. That being said, would I be surprised to see him as the everyday right fielder at some point in 2023? No. That is definitely something that could happen, but you need to plan and go into your season in which you're planning on competing for a World Series championship with a lot more certainty than a guy who's never played at the major league level.
I see HL says aim higher, Herb. I would love to, but I have to work in reality here. I know the team I root for. I know the team that we're covering here, and I know their limitations. To break the bank for a guy like Aaron Judge, man, there'll be nothing better. But I don't know if we're going in that water. We don't swim in those waters. Michael Conforto, awesome. Nimmo, bring him. But Aaron Judge wouldn't be the guy I think the White Sox are even in the conversations for.
Well, I think HL was just maybe more saying about Winker. I think he was just more trashing Jesse Winker in his career.
Check Jesse Winker's numbers. Check Jesse Winker's numbers, seriously.
Well,
the 1 year in Seattle was horrid. It was bad. But the Cincinnati years were undeniable.
Yeah, and the one thing I bring up Colas is just because, again, he's 24 years old. It's not like he's a prospect. It's not like, he's 22, 21. Like, he's had actual professional experience as well. So
yeah.
I think he's just a little bit further on than a normal prospect.
But there's difference between readiness and reliability. You know what I mean? I don't think you can say, just because this guy is ready for the Major League Challenge means that he's a better option than a bunch of these guys who have played Major League Baseball before.
But did Gavin Sheets prove himself to be reliable last year? I mean, like, kind of when he got sent down to AAA.
I'm not trying to compare him to Gavin Sheets. I'm trying to compare him to the entirety of free agent and trade discussions right now.
That's fair. I mean, if we look at the roster right now, Luis Robert, Gavin Sheets are the two outfielders, if you want to throw Andrew Vaughn as well in there.
I wouldn't. I don't. Right now, they do not have a starting left fielder, in my opinion, and they have about a half of a starting right fielder.
It seems like you're kind of accepting, or maybe it feels like you're saying the waters are that Jose Abreu is not returning.
Well, I mean, he's not on the team right now.
Okay.
I mean, I think they should bring Jose Abreu back. That would be my opinion. But we've seen reports that have suggested that they're ready to move on from him. And we've heard Rick Hahn say now multiple times that the White Sox are going to move toward playing people at their more natural positions to see if that would benefit them more. And that's a lot of words basically to say, yeah, Andrew Vaughn at first base, right? I mean, that's what I would read into it. Again, I think they should bring Jose Abreu back. I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world to have Eloy Jimenez as your everyday left fielder next year, if it means you still have Jose Abreu in the middle of your lineup. But if that's not the way they're going to go, they have 2 outfield spots that they need to fill. I think the biggest impact here with Pollock making this move reportedly is that you went from having to create kind of an outfield mix. You know what? Maybe you were going to be platooning in a way in both of your corner spots to now you need guys. You need players. I mean, they went from a log jam in the corner outfield to having one guy, basically, if they're definitely going to go with Andrew Vaughn at first base. So that seems to be the direction they're moving in. And we've talked so much about trying to find opportunities to make change on this roster. Boom, they've got some. No Josh Harrison, no A.J. Pollock. You've got 2 everyday jobs, if not 3 if you include right field, open on this team right now.
Are you pointing at Fred's comment?
I was more pointing at JJ's comment, asking you what are your thoughts on A.J. Pollock and his departure from the White Sox.
I mean, I'm just excited because it's $8 million that the White Sox get to spend on someone who's not a right-handed hitter and somebody who, again, when he came over, was experiencing the most power he ever had in his career, coming off the highest home run total with the Dodgers, but he didn't bring that this year. I think it's an interesting player in the free agent market, but just for the White Sox, it's not what the White Sox need. The White Sox need somebody who plays better defense, who is going to be, at least, like you mentioned with Oscar Colas, more reliable when it comes to the power department.
Do you look at it more, or you think the White Sox look at it more as, okay, it's $8 million more dollars, or do they look at it, it's $13 million to free up since he's not back on the roster for next year?
They've already paid the $5.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on whether they're looking at it very specifically or if they're just like, it's all coming out of, Jerry's bank account. It's all the same thing, right?
Okay.
So,
did Harrison have a buyout?
Yeah, but it was small.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I want to say it was under $2 million.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they spent about like $7 million in buyouts so
And here's
far,
the
but
thing,
I think that's
I mean-
just I think that just comes out of the off. I don't think that.
But I'm just
counts towards,
like if Jerry has a budget and a payroll, does he count that, hey, I paid those guys off and those are part of the budget? Or do you say, hey, the budget's free now of that $13 million you were going to pay AJ and the $5 million you were going to pay Josh Harrison? Now there is $18 million available for you to spend on some other people.
I would look at it like I would look at. I think more important is thinking about this too. That's money that you're paying for someone not to play for you.
right.
They've already done that with they did that with Dallas Keuchel last year, and now they've done it with Harrison and through not their choice, they did it with Pollock. If they have to end up doing that with somebody else they've already given a big contract to if
Grandal.
I mean, it's
I
something
mean, I don't know who else would.
right.
It
It's
would
something
be,
that
right?
you would think of if that offensive production would continue at the rate that it did last year, and his health impacts the way he's able to catch. Granted, those are big ifs that we're not going to find out until next year. But paying somebody to not play for you and paying them multiple millions of dollars, I don't think is palatable to anybody, whether that's Jerry Reinsdorf or any other of the 29 owners in baseball. That seems like a bitter pill to swallow, in my opinion.
Well, and the one thing, too, I mean, at least for the Pollock thing, it wasn't really their choice. I mean, Pollock opted out.
It
on
was
his
the
own,
Dodgers
yeah.
contract. They were taking that on regardless of what happened.
So, and the one thing, too, with, and now I lost the thought. Oh, well.
Talking about Pollock, AJ.
Yeah, I
Harrison,
don't know.
it's fine.
Okay, mercy. Okay, it'll come back to me at some point. Yeah, I don't know how it really would affect the true budget. I would hope it doesn't really, fold into it. I think it just that $5 million gets eaten up, and then that $8 million is free to spend. So Gavin Sheets is on the roster, but he's not starting. I mean, you said they don't have a starting left fielder right now. Do you think they have a starting right fielder?
No.
I think they've got part of a starting right fielder.
Like
I've got part of a platoon right
Okay.
now. I mean, I'm not trying to drag Gavin Sheets. I thought he showed some very
Yeah.
good things last year, but he doesn't seem, at least from what we've seen, he doesn't seem like if you went into 2023 with saying you're playing 150 games in right field, that doesn't seem super realistic to me.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the thing too. Like, I think that's why I bring up Colas is just because I think that there is a chance that he is just better than Gavin Sheets. So then if you are going to go with a platoon, you got to choose which lefty bat would be that option, because I don't know if Gavin Sheets really earned his role there on the 2023 roster, and I think that Colas could impress. So, but if they really don't have that guy, let's look at some of the free agent options, because I think the White Sox are going to have to at least sign a body from this. I know Dan from the 219 mentioned not AJ Pollock, but Andrew McCutchen. That would be very White Sox of them to go get McCutchen, I think, at this point in his career. But I brought up Brandon Nimmo. We've written off Aaron Judge at this point just because he'll be over $300 million. Is there another name out there in the free agent market that jumps out to you for the White Sox to play either that left field or right field spot?
Not in particular. I think a guy that they might look at is a guy that played for the Padres, has a lefty bat. I mean, Jerickson Profar would be a guy that I think who's played left field for the Padres the last couple of years. I think he's a natural infielder, but played a decent left field, can bring some power, some pop to the table, and can go and get it in left field. So White Sox-esque. He's not on the downslope of his career. He's kind of in the plateau. He's might fall off the table when he comes to the White Sox.
30.
Yeah, and so that's a guy that the White Sox might pick. But I'll be more interested in, last year at this time, we were looking at Michael Conforto, and he was going to get the big money. He was going to break the bank, but then he had an injury supposedly at a wedding, and his shoulder crapped out, and he was out for the year. I check into that again. Maybe his prices come down, and maybe also that player is the same. Maybe the player can continue to be productive, and it's a lefty bat that we definitely need.
There's a guy that's been connected to the White Sox for years and years at this point, and that's Jock Peterson. He'll be a free agent as well. That's interesting to think of. How about I saw this one mentioned in the comments, and it was one that I had on my list too. Power, defense, left-handed hitting, Joey Gallo.
Yeah,
is a free agent. That's
Isn't it Callow?
I think it's Joey Callow. I think Baseball Fan mentioned something about him hitting 100 because you guys were bringing that up. Like
he hit 106 last year.
Was it 106?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he mentioned something about Gallo hitting 100. He could stomach. 106 is rough. I mean, that's Adam Dunn
money.
That's like the new Adam Dunn.
106.
But if he hits, you said yesterday we were like he hit like 56 hits and like 17 of them were home runs. Like, if he does that, and we've talked about the right field and guaranteed rate as a lefty bat, you can probably put him in 6th, 7th, or 8th, and the guy would just hit the ball over the fence occasionally. Yes, the 100 average would be sucky, but I think the bright lights of New York kind of made him wilt. Maybe you can get the guy that was in Texas, and it's like you said, the defense still plays.
The guy in Texas is last year in Texas. He hit 181.
See, it's not very good.
How many home runs though?
AJ says,
10? I mean, it was the 2020
bring
year.
on Joey Gallo. I don't care if the motherfucker hits 100. Give me 25 to 30 timely left-handed bombs after the power outage last year.
And that's what I think, too, is that obviously they're going to try and get left-handed hitting. They need more left-handed hitting. That's obvious. But what is still a big need of this team is power hitting. If it's out there for you from the right-hand side as well, you shouldn't turn up your nose at it if you're the White Sox. And there's some guys, obviously that come with their own issues. But, Mitch Haniger, he's a free agent. He's Adam Duvall, he's a free agent. Those guys both hit righty. But and then also there's those other needs in the outfield too. You got to think about this. Defense in the outfield. You want improved defense. The whole point, if they don't bring Abreu back, the whole point they're doing that is to get Andrew Vaughn out of the outfield, to get Eloy Jimenez out of the outfield. You need defensive improvement. We already mentioned Gallo in that department. A couple other free agents. Jackie Bradley Jr., he's a left-handed hitter, plays really good defense, doesn't hit for a lot of power, but those are two good things. And then if you're going a little further down, how about Robbie Grossman? Plays decent defense. He's a switch hitter as well. And
knows the division as the Tigers time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you guys already brought up McCutchen, but McCutchen's not bad on the defensive side either. So
and what I'll bring up too is a guy that Herb's liked before, but it would be interesting because again, it might force Eloy to play left field. But Michael Brantley is going to be a free agent this year. I mean, if you want to talk about just consistent hitting, he might not play great left field, but I think he's a better hitter than Duvall. I think he's a better hitter than who was the other right-hander? Haniger. Oh, I mean, but that's the thing with him and Haniger. It's just like those guys have so much potential, but it's just the injuries. I mean, like that's the two guys that I think AJ Pollock could say I'm more healthier than those two guys at least. Like that's why I think he can get $8 million. It's just because he just showed that he could play at least 120 games, and his defense isn't horrible because he made those 3 great catches. And in the second half of the league, only Albert Pujols had more home runs against left-handers. So, like, I don't know. I think A.J. Pollock can find $8 million.
Sean wants to bring A.J. Pollock back.
No. But the reason why I like Brantley is because he's kind of A.J. Pollock from the left-handed side.
But much better. The only problem with Brantley, he gets hurt. He's off the hurt, and he missed a good portion of this year for the Houston Nationals. Still gets a ring at the end of the year. And I've been chasing him forever. He's my white whale. I've been wanting him since the Cleveland Indians years when he was a free agent a couple years ago with the Astros. And there was the reports about him signing with the Blue Jays to join his boy Springer. That was false, and he went back to the Astros. I love Michael Brantley because the one thing that Michael Brantley can do is hit all the time. Michael Brantley doing something well offensively is not a surprise. And if we can get him, I think, 35, 36 now? A little long in the tooth, but I'm sure Michael Brantley will be hitting well into his 50s. So, I don't know. You probably would have to have like a contingency plan for Michael Brantley because he's going to get hurt next year.
But he's an everyday guy. That's the thing.
Yeah, but he's going to get hurt. And
your contingency plan is like
having somebody
find the good version of Adam Engel again. You know it, right? I mean, yeah.
Well, but here's the thing, like, and I don't know if that version ever exists.
He did, and when Frank Menachito fixed his swing, remember he fixed his swing and he came up and started hitting home runs.
I think that was Adam Engel's own work. But yeah, you bring up Brantley's injury history, but I don't know if it's as bad as we think. I mean, like 2016 he played 11 games, 2017 he was an All-Star and then got hurt in the second half. But 2018, 143 games. 2019, 148 games. Pandemic year, he played 46 of 60, which is an awful. 2021, 121, and then this year 64, and he tore his labrum. So it's not like a freak injury. Like, you know, tore his labrum, he got surgery. Like, I think that's something you could bounce back from. I don't know if he's like a huge. There's a red flag. There's a couple red flags. But
Oft-injured Eloy Jimenez from left field to oft-injured Michael Brantley in left field.
It's a worry.
It's you know me. If Michael Brantley's on the 2023 White Sox, I'm the happiest person in the world because I love Michael Brantley. But also, I can't be a hypocrite and say I want Eloy off this team because of his injury history and then accept Michael Brantley on the team because he has similar injury history.
So Mitch Haniger's out for you too.
Yeah. I mean, you could bring any of these guys in and it'll be good. But like we said, we need depth. And that's the one thing that the White Sox didn't have. That's why they kept on having Luis Robert swing the bat, even though you know his shoulder is messed up, because they have nothing down in the minor leagues. You know, and Vinny brought it up. It's like, who do you want up here? Adam Hazley to bat for Luis Robert? No. That's what's going to happen. I mean, no Michael Brantley's going to get hurt next year. And who are you going to want up here? Dan Payton, whatever his name is.
Mark Payton.
Walter Payton?
Yeah.
Walter.
Him?
Well, the thing with
Ian Happ's not going anywhere, guys.
No,
I would love him rusted too.
Would you rather
Makes coffee too?
Would you rather have Brandon Nimmo, or would you rather have like 5 of these names like kind of scattered and then give like depth that way?
That is White Sox, to just spread the money that you could pay one good guy to 5 mediocre to bad guys.
So why not Brandon Nimmo? You just got $8 million more from AJ Pollock. Does that make it more? I mean, like, you know, 8 of his $23 million for 2023.
It's not my money, but I think spending upwards of $23 to $25 million for Brandon Nimmo is an overspend. But maybe the White Sox need to go in those waters to get a player like that.
I think the better question is, of the guys that we all just have been talking about here, would you be happy with 2 of them as the everyday corner outfield?
Hell yeah.
Who would you put?
Give me Brandon Nimmo. That's going to cost a lot of money. And then I would.
But I feel like
the question is, he would be off the board if you're going to go get 2 everyday.
If you're getting
3
2
everyday guys, including second base.
I think you can get Brandon Nimmo.
If you're getting Nimmo, you're just getting Nimmo, I think.
I know. He's not Judge. He's got enough money, but then you can get a $10 million.
He's the White Sox version of Judge.
A $10 million guy a year and spend $30 million on your corner outfielders. That's 15 each. That's a discount.
I would say, like, Andrew McCutcheon's Target, Brandon Nimmo's J. Crew, and then Aaron Judge is like, Balenciaga. I'm never affording, as a White Sox fan, Balenciaga. But, a nice
I have
J.
no
Crew
idea
brief.
what that even is.
It's a terrible shoe company
a
that
huge
makes
brand,
terrible shoes that people spend $600 for.
Maybe Prada, a Gucci. Does Gucci ring a bell?
The movie with Lady Gaga?
Yes, The House of Gucci.
If I win this Powerball next, I will never buy Balenciaga or any of these expensive shoes. It's just a waste of time.
You got numbers?
Huh?
Someone
I heard
already
them
won
last
it.
night. Did they?
Yeah,
Those
someone won
sons
it.
of bitches.
Someone in California won it. They found out this morning.
That's the worst.
How do you win already? How?
It was last night.
It was last night's drawing.
That was kind of
this
delayed
morning.
too.
Yeah, it was
but
delayed.
If I ever win, or if I have a bunch of money ever, I will never buy expensive stuff like that.
Damn.
That's just dumb. Balenciaga's dumb. You know who bought Balenciagas? Denzel Valentine.
That man's
And
dumb.
I make fun of him when he did. And he's like, oh, grown men shouldn't be taking selfies. He said that to me, and I was like, I hate Denzel Valentine. And you saw his career.
Yeah,
He sucked.
You always say like you shouldn't wear jerseys with the name of people on their backs, right?
With other people's names on your back. I might have to change that. That Justin Fields, man.
So I was gonna ask, like, is Walter Payton and like Michael Jordan and like some of the legends like Frank Thomas, like, do they get a pass?
Yeah, because they're established. They're already off the team. They're going to be on the White Sox forever as legends or Bears forever. My thing is, like, you get a jersey like you got a Mitch Trubisky jersey. Now he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. Right. Now you got to alter that thing and put Claypool on it like our guy Kevin Kadick did. I just get my name on the jersey because I'm never going to get traded from the White Sox, even though I've been requesting a trade for a long time.
Patrick Manley works, right, Herb?
Yeah, Patrick Manley, like he's played the most games in Bears history. Yeah, that works. That's what I would get. Justin Fields, yes, he might eventually leave the Bears, but right now, that man is a champion.
They'd be stupid to let him leave.
Goddamn, Justin Fields is
and
great.
I'm excited to go to the tailgate we have on Sunday. It's going to be a blast in 38-degree weather. Justin Fields and that Chicago team are taking on the Detroit team, and I'm excited to have some Green Ridge Farm at our fantastic tailgate. If you're looking for some tickets for the tailgate, check out allchgo.com. But our friends at Green Ridge Farm supplied some meat sticks for the last tailgate, and I'm assuming they will be back this Sunday. They're a local meat and cheese company offering you a better all-natural option. They're the makers of all-natural deli meat that I visit when I go to my local Jewel's, sausages, and their famous meat sticks. Those are perfect for tailgating, happy hour, and school lunches. If my mom put a meat stick in my school lunch when I was in grammar school, my head would have exploded. That would have been easily like 3 to 4 cosmic brownies and a trade.
I'm about to say trade would have been great.
Oh, that's top tier list on trades if you're talking about school lunches.
Star Crunch were great too. You ever had Star Crunch? Oh, just delicious.
It doesn't sound like
it's chocolate, caramel.
Oh yeah.
And like little crispy things on the top.
Yeah, no, I'd go for that. They're kind of like, they look like Crunch Bars a little bit, but just like a cookie.
Just delicious.
Yeah, I'll take that. So yeah, I mean, Star Crunches and meat sticks are like
oatmeal cream pies.
The top of the trade tree. These all natural meat sticks are hardwood smoked for 8 hours, and meat sticks come in chicken, black forest beef, and flavors like jalapeno cheddar and spicy chili. You also got to check out their fantastic mustards. Herb loves the champagne honey mustard. What?
Both champagne money and honey.
Champagne honey mustard, and I love the chipotle mustard. You can find them in the refrigerated section at Costco, Sam's Club, or your local Chicago grocery store. And right now, when you order any 3 meat products at greenridgefarm.com and include a pack of meat sticks in your cart, those meat sticks will be free simply by using code CHGO at checkout. Remember, go to greenridgefarm.com and use code CHGO at checkout. Green Ridge Farm, simply natural meat.
Before you get to that next one, our guy Steven Nicholas, our producer usually, our guy Joey's doing today. Herb is right, of course. I had a Kevin White jersey. Dumb purchase, Steven. That was really dumb. He barely played. And then...
Killing it for the Saints.
Is he?
No. He had a catch last night. It was Andy Dalton throwing to Kevin White.
I was talking about oatmeal cream pies. Do you like those double oatmeal cream pies or the double stuffed Oreos? Because I think that the ratio's messed up on both of those things, so I like the regular... filling.
Too much stuffing.
Too much filling, right?
I don't think so, but you know that there's like mega stuff. You would not be a fan of. That's got to be way too much.
I think mega stuff's too much for Oreos. I think double stuff is the perfect.
I agree. Double stuff works for me.
I think that's the right Oreo. I think that's the way Oreo should have been made.
I would agree.
But I think the oatmeal cream pie, it's too big. It gets too big.
This is one of my unpopular opinions. Just not a Little Debbie guy in general.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Just out on all of them.
They seem to me to be a very low quality product.
So it's actually a fun fact here. double stuffed Oreos. It actually should be called 1.86 stuffed Oreos.
Oh.
So, not
Thank you,
fully
Joey.
double. So
they're not doubled.
let's be careful with, the semantics.
It's true.
We can all agree that
hashtag dessert math.
we can all agree that thins are the worst, right? The thin Oreos.
Yeah, have you had the Cakesters, Herb?
I've only seen like
Do they
TikToks
still
of
make those?
Cakesters, and people always
they're
are like
coming back.
having sexual experiences while eating Cakesters, and
They're
so
pretty good.
I haven't had
From what
one
I
yet.
remember, they're pretty good. There's a reason they're coming back.
All right.
Might have
They
to
were
get
kinda
them and bring
gross.
them in. All right, well,
They were
to
kinda
each
in
their
that-
own. Vinny likes the Crunch Bar. Herb likes the Three Musketeers. That's the beauty of it. We all
doesn't
got
love a
our
Crunch Bar?
opinions.
No one likes the Three Musketeers except for Vinny.
No, you do,
They're
Herb. You
fine.
like them. Herb
They're
likes
not
them.
like the
Herb
devil's
likes them.
It's
candy.
better than
They're
Mo-
fine.
He likes them
it's
more
better
than Milky Way.
Well, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Which is wrong. I
That's
agree
very
with Vince.
insane.
Yeah.
So wait, like, are you a ho-ho guy? You a ding-dong guy?
What? No, I don't
Just-
like
just
any
any-
of that.
Just hates
Like,
Lil
you'd
Debbie.
say no to you would not join Luis Robert and Yohan Moncada in the Twinkie train?
Absolutely not. No chance. No, just all those little things. They come in the plastic. They're not a good product. They're not a high quality product.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You're not wrong.
I like a homemade chocolate chip cookie. That's what I'm looking for.
And shout out to Braggs who brought a ton apparently today. So some nice peanut butter cookies. Marcus saying happy belated birthday, Herb. Hope next season CHGO White Sox has a tailgate party. We did on June 22nd. It was the Blue Jays.
Oh my
game.
God!
And
I
they
got the worst.
ass kicked.
I got the worst sunburn of my life.
Really?
Sitting in the upper deck with you guys.
Oh, that's brutal.
No sunscreen. I got the worst sunburn I've ever had in my life.
Then he will tailgate with us, and then he will go watch from the press box because it's
no more
shaded.
no more sunburn for me.
Flash the pass. But yeah, we'll do that again next year. It'll
Loney
be fun.
Fonseca. I don't know.
Fonseca.
High Horse Duber over there. Too good for Little Debbie. Sheesh. Yeah.
You gotta have standards.
And
You gotta have
congratulations.
standards.
Didn't he get married this weekend, right?
Did he really?
Peter, I believe, yeah.
Damn.
Mazel tov.
Congratulations, sir.
Shout out to Miss Baloney and Mr. Baloney.
Duke Eaton's got a sleeve of double stuff, 1.6886 stuff, riding shotgun.
Very nice. And riding shotgun watching us. Be careful. And commenting on the CHGO
really.
White Sox
Drive
live stream.
safely, please.
Mercy.
Must be. You know what? What time is it? It's 4:30. He's on the Eisenhower. He's not moving.
That's fair. The ComEd Energy Efficient Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities we serve save money and energy. ComEd offers free facility assessments that can find energy-saving opportunities, whether it's lighting, HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. So don't wait. Get starting saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips and to schedule your free facility assessment, go to comed.com/poweringbiz. That's B-I-Z, comed.com/poweringbiz. And ready to sign up for facility assessment, call 1-855-433-2700 during normal business hours to speak with ComEd Energy Efficiency Program with a ComEd Energy Efficiency Program representative, or email businessee@comed.com, or request an online assessment at our website at comed.com/facility assessment. What's normal business hours? 9 to 5?
Yeah.
Well, in New York, maybe 8 to 4 here in the lovely city of Chicago.
If you
we
work
don't-
for
it's not like
CHGO, it's like 11 a.m. to
I don't wake up
1
until
a.m.
10:30. I mean, when they announced the manager, I was asleep. It was like, what, 10 when they announced it?
Oh, yeah, I
All the
remember
actual adults were up, and I woke up at 10:30. I was like, oh, the White Sox have a new manager. Isn't that crazy? They don't move. It's 8 to 4.
Yeah, 8 to 4.
Because that's where the East
Your bake opens at 9? Oh.
that's where the East Coast starts, so they kind of adjusted to that.
The idea is that they work like Dolly Parton 9 to 5 in New York, and so we are tied to them, and so we're 8 to 4.
So is California then
No, they get their
6
own
to-
thing.
They get their own
They
thing.
get their
yeah.
own thing.
ridiculous? All right. Why are we tied to New York? These damn jerks.
More people on the East Coast than anywhere else.
Fix it. All right, let's talk about a little bit of Rick Hahn here. We'll probably tie this into more AJ Pollock discussion because I feel like that's not really over. But Rick Hahn did have basically like one comment, and Vinnie talked about it on his latest article on allchgo.com about the roster and what the roster will look like for 2023. So, Joey, let's hear his answer to Scott Merskin's question.
Still a championship caliber core. Obviously, we had significant regression across the board in several key players. I think job one is figuring out which of those are correctable and how are we going to get them back on track and performing at the levels that we previously saw and that I think was reasonable to project them for last season before they fell off. If we're able to accomplish that with numerous players, wholesale changes or a radical shift in direction is by no means necessary. Are there areas where we need to improve? Absolutely. We've hit on that already today, whether it's from regaining our offensive approach, staying healthier. Those are two keys to our success going forward. But improving ourselves defensively, how we run the bases, a little better lineup balance and approach to each at bat is called for as well. Whether that comes from internal improvement or external additions, ultimately we're hoping that's a combination of both. But we don't view this as drastic wholesale changes on the horizon. We need to get these guys back to the level they're capable of playing.
So no drastic wholesale changes, and he expects the championship core to still be a championship's core. So you would assume that's Yoan Moncada, Yasmani Grandal, Eloy Jimenez, Andrew Vaughn, Luis Robert, Tim Anderson. Am I leaving anyone out?
I mean, unless you want to go into the pitching realm where you've got Dylan Cease and Lance Lynn and Michael Kopech there. Liam Hendricks probably counts as one of those core guys as well, I would imagine.
The one thing that I think sticks out to me, I know he mentioned trade before, and he did say it's not a problem or this roster is an issue. It's not something you could just throw money at and make the problems go away. But it does just feel like it's probably going to be free agents that come in. I'm not really getting a strong sense of a trade, and I really don't see like certain pieces of this team that stick out as trade assets. I don't know about how you guys are feeling after hearing these comments and just how the offseason's gone so far.
First, let me correct it. Peter said he's been married for 11 years. It's one of the other Chicago sports bums, which they do a podcast. Good podcast, so check it out. One of those other guys got married. But I think, I've already said that the person I want to bring back some players if he's in the trade market, and that'll be Eloy Jimenez. But there's not a lot of people. If we're talking about Yasmani Grandal, they would have to eat a lot of that money and then have to go and get a catcher coming back. So, yeah, there's not a lot of trade possibilities for the White Sox as we currently sit here. They're right now in Las Vegas at the GM meetings, probably working out some deals, listening to what other GMs have to say, and maybe Rick is getting a good idea of what his team's value is and what it is around the league, and maybe he changes his mind and opens his eyes with, okay, you want this player? Maybe we can get that player from your team, and it'll improve both of our teams type of thing. But I think, since the availability of money they have with A.J. Pollock, which I don't know if they were expecting, the Josh Harrison money, I think free agency should be a priority for the White Sox. We saw the report, I think it was from Bob Nightingale or John Heyman, saying that the White Sox seek out to spend some money this year in this offseason market. Let's see if they want to go and spend some money, because there are people out there who are available who make decent money but are available for the White Sox to sign and bring to this core that is already established, because I don't see any of those core pieces, as we already talked about, leaving this team, especially not Tim Anderson.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about this pretty much since, July or August at this point, considering the way the season went, but I don't think really we should be surprised, or I doubt either of you guys were surprised to hear that from Rick. I mean, I think that this was something that we very much got the feeling, and again, I don't think they're necessarily wrong to believe this, that all these young guys that they've already invested in, that they brought up through the rebuild to be the team, the core that was going to compete for championships, it's not like they're all surefire, never going to be anything. Like, they very well could still become those players that people thought they were going to be. Hell, we just saw Eloy Jimenez, who you just brought up, be one of the best hitters in baseball over the second half of the season. Tim Anderson started the All-Star game at shortstop last year. Luis Robert still has all those 6, 7, 8 tools, however many you want to assign him, depending on what backfield you're watching him play on, if you're Frank Thomas or Tony La Russa. But, it is a situation where they're also kind of stuck because they have invested in those guys already. I don't think we saw a lot of change happening. Yoan Moncada, why would you trade Yoan Moncada after he had the worst season of his career? What are you going to get back from him? You can't trade Yasmani Grandal. You're not going to get anything back for him. Luis Robert was just hurt all year. Tim Anderson, the list goes on and on. If you get rid of Eloy Jimenez, Herb, then who in God's name is going to hit any home runs on this team? So
Jesse Winker.
Well, good luck with that. But the point being that I don't think there was drastic change to even happen. And he being Rick Hahn would have needed to blow things up and really just be like, all right, 2023, we need to retool or whatever word you want to use to get this thing back right. I think what they've done is they've gone out and found a new manager that they believe in. They're going to bring in a coaching staff of mostly people from outside the organization to get different minds and different approaches in here. And as they are going to go sign a free agent. They're going to make a trade. They're going to add new players to this team. They have to. We just talked about how they need 3 everyday guys. But the most meaningful change to can the White Sox win the World Series in 2023 is not going to be, oh boy, what second baseman are they going to go get? It's going to be, can Eloy Jimenez do that for a full season? Right. It's going to be, can Tim Anderson do that for a full season? Can Luis Robert be Luis Robert? Can Yoan Moncada be Yoan Moncada? Those are the questions that need to be answered in order for this team to realize its championship aspirations next year. It's not one or the other. Both things are going to happen, but the biggest things are not going to be going on Twitter with what are the latest hot stove rumors. The biggest, most impactful work this offseason is going to be going on in Yoan Moncada's batting cage down in Tampa. Mm-hmm. It's going to be going on in Pedro Grifol's office where he's figuring out all these analytics to give to these guys. It's going to be going on in weight rooms for Eloy and for Luis Robert to make sure that they can be healthy this year. So, to me, it's not a one or the other, but there probably were people, especially at the end of last year when the losses were still piling up, looking at this roster and going, no, get rid of him. That's not happening.
And it's going to be happening in Luis Roberts' butterfly sanctuary, too.
Absolutely.
Well, they always talk about the mental. The mental is really important. You got to get yourself right, that sanctuary.
Blake Name asks, what's Yasmani Grandal's buyout?
There is none.
It's $18 million.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, you just got to pay the man.
And Fred says, hey, just DFA him. Like, they've already done that with Dallas Keuchel. That's a lot to ask them to do $36 million in a year just to eat.
I think them doing that to Dallas Keuchel shows you that they'd be willing to do it under the same circumstances with Yasmani or anyone else. But the point being, they waited on Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah.
Dallas Keuchel had one of the worst years of his career in 2021, and they put him in the rotation for 2022 and waited for him to make, what was it, 11 starts
10.
to him to show that was it, and that they needed to move on from him. They're going to very much do the same thing with Yasmani Grandal, if not let that play out, considering I think Yasmani Grandal seems like he is held in very high regard in that clubhouse and by the team. If he's the guy, you're sending to the Blackhawks game with the new manager.
Right, eight games for Dallas Keuchel in a White Sox uniform. I've not been afraid to put on a tinfoil hat before, and I'll do it again. I'd be really surprised to see Yasmani Grandal just get bought out at any point at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's not tinfoil hat. Well, that makes sense.
But even too, like, the injury that he had was like pretty, just not freak, but like just seems pretty intense. Like, I mean, like the way that he was describing it, and especially for a catcher, being on your knees and using your knees and back as much as you are, I would just assume, especially with them offering him life-changing money, the most they've ever offered a single player. I don't know if
they've ever paid a single player.
I could see him like being if he really starts to struggle, like, all right, we're gonna make up you guys. I mean, Lawrence always brings up the phantom IL stint.
Yeah,
like I could see them getting out that way.
It's the only thing though. Do they have a suitable replacement for him? Sebi's not. Perez is not as yet. I don't think a suitable replacement is in the organization right now. Then they would have to spend more money on a backup for him. I mean, there's other people available. I think Martin Maldonado is available for the White Sox. I mean, he can catch, he can't hit, but what'd you get from Yasmani Grandal last year?
What are you? But like, I don't know. I don't want him. Mike Zunino, Wilson Contreras, Omar, the Narv Dogs.
The Narv Dogs back
on the free agent market. Gary Sanchez, Tucker Barnhart. I'd take any. Kirk Casale. I'd take Kirk Casale. Christian Vasquez. I don't know.
Those are good options.
Maldonado.
Yeah, those are good options.
I think
for a backup catcher,
especially with Sebi. Like Sebi wasn't horrible. Like I don't know. Catchers suck. I mean, a lot of catchers. Like, there's JT Realmuto.
You didn't name the
and
one
Adley
guy.
Rutschman.
The one
Like,
guy
those
that's
are the two
100%
catchers.
available. I'm sure Zach Collins is available. We can go back and get him.
Zach Collins is definitely available. Reese McGuire is probably available as well. And Toronto's looking to trade a catcher too. They got Alejandro Kirk. They got Danny Jansen. And thank you, Mailman Jack, for that. They got Danny
Alejandro Kirk.
Jansen and
Deal.
and
I've hit the deal already. And happy birthday to my man, Alejandro Kirk, 24 now.
oh, hey, blessings.
On November 6th.
Gabriel Moriano, I think, is the other catcher they have. That is a top prospect. So yeah, I mean, maybe they make another deal with Toronto for a catcher. We'll have to see. We got final stuff is Dylan Cease being a finalist. We'll save the Luis Robert report card until tomorrow. But before we get into the finalists for the AL Cy Young, got to tell you about Game Time. If you are going to come out to the tailgate we are having on Sunday, you'll need to buy tickets to that Lions game as well. It's only a 15-minute walk from Soldier Field, and Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. If you think about, or you want to watch the Bears game from the 50-yard line for probably one of the last times, the Lions game is probably one of the cheaper ones to go and do that. So this might be a great time to pull on one of the biggest last-minute price drops that can be found on Game Time on seats that you never thought you could buy. You won't find a better deal this season on Blackhawks, Bulls, or Bears tickets. So wherever you may go this season, check out the Game Time app. And again, they also have deals on concerts. I know I wanted to go to the Pavement concert back in September, and I saw some great deals on the Game Time app. It's created by the fans, for the fans, and it guarantees the lowest price. Ticket prices are absolutely insane nowadays, so make sure you are using the Game Time app to get the biggest last-minute price drops and help your wallet out. If you love CHGO, then you'll love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets to the link in the description. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all your favorite events. And next up is Shady Rays. It's dark now, and it's getting dark around 5 o'clock, but I was driving in the sun, and it was brutal today, and I broke my sunglasses. Gonna be dead serious.
This is true. You broke your sunglasses today?
The cheap ones that I've been driving around with that lasted me 2 weeks that I got in Vegas because I forgot mine in Vegas. And they broke on me already. And
How
Shady
did you break sunglasses just driving?
Were you like
because
clean
they're really
them?
cheap. They're really poorly made.
What did you do?
Hulk smash apparently. Just I didn't know my strength, and I just was trying. You know how you open them? You know how you close them to kind of like make them a little,
You
put them
need
down
to
and
be a
store
little
them.
gentler with those
apparently.
bad boys.
But hey, Shady Rays never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, so they set out to change it. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses. You do actually have to spend more than like $4 though this fall, because our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. They have one of the best deals, their deepest deals this fall. They're offering you buy one, get one free, so you can get these high quality sunglasses that Shady Rays customers given over 200,000 5-star reviews to. You can get them buy one, get one free, 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com, 2 pairs for as low as $54. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find the newest and best shades. But we've seen all of their fantastic styles. They have many different for men and women.
Sean, you get the pink one?
Vinny did.
I got the
Oh,
pink
me, it
ones.
was me and Vinny. We're rocking the pink one.
You guys are rocking the pink one?
When they,
All right,
when they
there you
come.
go. So Vinny's shouting off of the pink one. I think I got some sweet white ones. Herb, I think you went with the classic black ones,
The
right?
one with the Venturas.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yes.
The
they got-
Robin Venturas.
Correct.
Mercy, 23 in the Twitter handle. So you got some fantastic shades to pick from. If you do break them on day one as well, they'll replace them, no questions asked. So if you just Hulk smash them, hey, they're not going to ask you any questions. Like Vinny asked me. I mean, it was just
I'm just more shocked. That's all.
Hey.
Like I'm not like trying to litigate anything. I'm just stunned.
I was thinking about AJ Pollock opting in, and I just
That's what we say on the
lost
Bulls
it.
show. We say they're made. It's the Matt Peck guarantee. Like he throws stuff all the time, watching the game, loses control. Like the White Sox disappointing season. Get a pair of sunglasses. You don't have to worry about snapping over your knee. Like
Yeah, Joe Kelly walks the yard. You don't have to worry about stomping them out.
no, get a free pair.
Yeah, so code CHGO for 50% off, 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. Again, buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $54. And finally, we mentioned Dallas Keuchel, so of course the Foco ad is in this episode. Chicago, you've already got the best coverage for your favorite team, so get fitted in the best sports gear around. Foco has you covered from Soldier Field to the living room, north or south side, with hoodies, slippers, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. Get decked out like DeMar with apparel from the leader in sports, merch, and collectibles, Foco, F-O-C-O. Looking for the perfect gift for the football fan in your life? Foco's got you covered with hoodies to fight that Lake Michigan breeze. Again, it's going to be 38 degrees at our tailgate, so check out Foco.com or click the link in the description below. And for all non-presale items, use promo code CHGO for 10% off. Dylan Cease was named a finalist for the AL Cy Young. We're not shocked. We made the or the size C shirts, and you can check those out at the CHGO locker if you want to pick up a shirt. But we do have the 3 finalists: Justin Verlander of the Houston Astros, Dylan Cease of the Chicago White Sox, and Alek Manoah of the Toronto Blue Jays. Vinny, I think we just got to give you more praise because you called the Verlander stuff at the start of the year.
Immediately.
I'll tell you what, like Greg Allman and Dickie Betts, of course I'm a rambling man, but unlike Bob Seger, I'm not a rambling gambling man. If I were, I would have a nice payday for predicting that Justin Verlander won the Cy Young.
There you go, on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Yeah, it's good numbers. Dylan Cease had a fantastic year with that streak of giving up 1 earned run or less. I think it was the 14 games in a row. He was like in the realm of people like Sandy Koufax. When you get named in those same circles, you're having a great year. But Justin Verlander, for multiple reasons, will win this Cy Young. Firstly, coming back from Tommy John surgery. Secondly, 39 years old. Thirdly, he had a great year. He had the best year of any American League pitcher. And I'm sure that the story, even if their stats were similar, he would have won it. He would have won it because he's Justin Verlander, and the story is way too good. Of man, what a storybook thing! The man's 38, coming back from this injury, and still being the best pitcher in the American League. That is a great story. Congratulations to him. He hasn't won it yet, but it's a fait accompli.
Do we think it's unanimous that he wins this?
Yes.
Interesting question. I mean, that's rare, right? I mean, we don't see that too often, but it could be. It certainly could be because I mean, when they faced each other,
yes.
when Cease and Verlander faced each other over on the South Side, that was looked at as like the battle for the Cy Young, and Verlander won.
Do we know which local person has the vote for the Cy Young this year?
I do, but I will wait for the announcement too.
Okay, all right.
Come on,
I don't want to put
people
the
show. Yeah, right.
It's not Vinny.
I'm just saying, like,
It's not me. I can tell you
that would be the only way that Justin Verlander doesn't get it. Sees that a local guy's like, man, Cease had a great year. I talked to him. He was awesome. Yeah, Verlander did this, that, and the other, but he's already got 2. He's got a World Series. He don't need it. Let's send a first place vote to Dylan Cease.
Who's the biggest White Sox beat writer homer that's going to be voting Dylan Cease number one?
Don't answer that question.
I'm not. They're all professionals, but I'm saying like they could throw a vote to him, and we saw a vote for a player of Yohan Moncada a couple years ago that people got mad at that he got a vote for.
That he got a 10th place MVP.
Yeah, like, oh my
Fairly,
God,
too.
Yohan Moncada, no way, ridiculous.
James Fegan just cursed him. I think that's all we can say.
Wow.
Yeah,
Fegan,
right?
Usually it's the Fegan bump, but this time
okay.
it's the Fegan curse.
It's the Fegan curse, I think.
Interesting.
We have 7 players who have won the Cy Young, the AL Cy Young, unanimously. Denny McClain in 68, Ron Guidry in 78, Clemens in 86 and 98, Pedro in 99 and 2000. That one's not shocking. Yohan Santana.
3 consecutive.
Yeah.
98, 99, 2000. 3 consecutive unanimous Cy Youngs. That's
It's
wild.
very rare, except for the years
Except
from
the 3 times
1998.
it happened in a row.
Then Yohan Santana did it in 2004. He was busy in 2005, but he did it in 2006. And then Justin Verlander did it in 2011. So Verlander, I guess, would join Clemens, Pedro, Yohan, and himself. Or he would be the 4th person to do it twice. And then Shane Bieber also did it in 2020.
Justin Verlander again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Makes
listen,
sense,
he was
too,
awesome.
since he won MVP.
But listen, Cease was awesome this year. I mean, for a guy that was snubbed from the All-Star team to likely finish 2nd in the AL Cy Young vote and to be a guy who, as I mentioned all year, every time anybody talks about him, be it Ethan Katz or even Tony La Russa or his teammates, it's all like, yeah, he's great, and he's going to be better. And it's like, he's going to be better than the 2nd place in the Cy Young. But that's what they think about this guy. And I thought that his 2021 season counted as a breakout season. Boy, we were not expecting this, I don't think. I mean, some people certainly were, but for him to do this year was really, really impressive. And, Herb, we always talk about our belief that Lucas Giolito is one of those ace-type pitchers. Dylan Cease shot into that realm real quick, and he is one of the best pitchers in baseball. There is no doubt about it.
And he wrote a poem that was terrible. That's the confidence that he has, that he can write bad poems and doesn't give a fuck. That's the confidence that a great pitcher needs to have. Where he
beauty in the eye of the beholder, Herb. This is art we're talking about.
I thought
This
it was
isn't
good.
spin rate. This is art.
You should find your bride.
I thought it was good.
Ugh, it was terrible.
Hey, I don't know.
I mean,
tried.
Let's see your poetry.
yeah, you
Harry.
write any poems?
He's not a poet laureate.
Yeah.
So here's that. There you go. There's the next one, guys. We found it. So Herb has already
Jesus
said
Christ.
he's faster than Yasmani Grandal. Now he says Dylan Cease is a terrible poet. Herb, your next White Sox roster challenge is that you have to beat Dylan Cease at poetry.
I'm gonna tweak a hamstring there too.
You might.
We're
You
gonna
might.
book you guys at like a very, very thin coffee shop, and you're gonna be doing slam poetry on a stool.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
It's like beatniks. Kerouac.
You mentioned the breakout season in 2021. I think it is funny if you want to flash the graphic again, Joey. Just looking at Cease's numbers, you look at the BWAR 6.4 shot up from 2021 where it was at 2.9. His F4 was 4.4 in 2021 and in 2022, which I just find
Four
hilarious.
don't like the walks, do they?
No, 4 doesn't like the walks, and 4, what is it good for?
What does
also,
Guar think about it?
Huh?
What does Guar think about it?
Gore,
Yeah.
Gore would annihilate Dylan Cease off the planet.
With the animal masks.
Yes, with
Yeah.
the animal mask and their riffs of justice or whatever. I think Cease is probably going to finish second. Do we have the votes here? We voted all for the same exact ballot. We have Verlander first, Cease second, Manoah third. The only possible way I could fight for Cease is that he had more strikeouts and he had more innings pitched than Verlander, but it was about 11 more innings pitched and not that many strikeouts.
And parsing the Alek Manoah inclusion into the finalists, he deserves it. But I think Framber Valdez probably deserved it a little bit more with his record of quality starts, MLB record of quality starts this year, and he's on that team. Maybe they don't want to split the votes in Houston, and so they went with Alek Manoah, who deserves to be in the top 3, but I would have went with Framber Valdez.
But the votes are based off of how they finished, right? So like,
What do you mean?
Like
How the
voters already have voted,
sorry.
right? And they already know that
your votes are due. Your votes are due before the playoffs begin.
Okay.
right. So so like if they like, we know that this is the top 3, and like this
These
was
are
voted,
the top. This
So-
is them announcing the top 3, just not in order.
Yeah, I don't know if they voted to avoid the split. I think that just probably happened too.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing too, like Manoah, I wasn't really thinking of him as a top 3 finish, but like he had a very similar ERA to Cease as we popped up on the screen. It was 224 compared to 220, but I mean he had the most inning pitched out of all 3 of them. So I mean that is something that is
200
extremely
innings
valuable.
pitched, yeah.
I mean 196 and 2/3. So that's about what, like 12 more than Cease, and then about 23 more than Verlander. About 4 games right there.
196 innings from Alek Manoah. Nah, he's no James Shields.
No, he's not. Probably get Jose Rodriguez for Alek Manoah, right? Who's the Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Sox currently? How do we make that jump?
I was going to say Elijah.
I was wondering
but
where you
he's
were going there.
But
Oh, yeah, Elijah's
Elijah's
Tatis.
gone now. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox podcast. We went around the AJ Pollock deal, and make sure you vote, too. You still got time. I went to a bar.
Oh, how's Chicago? And I've once voted in a bar too, which when I lived over by the ballpark that shall not be named, lest White Sox fans attack me. I voted in a bar, and I thought that was the most appropriate thing imaginable.
Is it a Chicago landmark?
What?
Wrigley
the bar?
Field?
Wrigley Field?
The bar might be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a federal landmark. I mean, it's not. I mean, if you're going to get butthurt over the mention of a name, I don't think.
I just don't want to be yelled at for living on the north side.
Get yelled at. You're getting yelled at by.
Great, thank
Oh,
you.
people talk about me living on the north side. Oh, you went to White Sox on the north side. I've lived on the south side. I just happen to live in Uptown now. Shut up.
But anyway, I've also voted
Sorry.
in a bar, Sean.
Not you.
It was fun, and I just moved to the north side, and I wasn't voting in a bar in the south side. I was voting in a bar in the north side. So there you go.
Combines Chicago's multiple of Chicago's great traditions.
I was really trying to Photoshop Dylan Cease into like a beret holding like a poetry book. But
Just real quick, here on the fly.
yeah, it was,
Wow.
show's ending. Maybe we got to it earlier. We'd have it.
Oh man, just
Maybe for tomorrow.
Is poetry French?
big claps.
No, but it's like this similar look
Like
to
smoking
it.
a cigarette while
Right,
he's
like what's he
reading a
gonna
book.
like?
Allez toi.
Yeah, correct.
Reading. Oh, slider, slide.
I'm thinking, what
Man,
am I
French
going to
people
put for
are
him? Am I
hating
going to
me.
put like a typewriter?
Drinking a
no, like
mead.
I looked up poet hat, and it was pretty like beret.
Poet hat.
Poet hat.
PNG, poet hat, PNG.
Maybe that's a giveaway next year at Sox game.
He's already got the mustache. Like he's got the mustache with
Dylan Cease poet hat.
I think
giveaway.
there needs to be some sort of giveaway next year related to the poem. Maybe like you get it on a placard or something like that. Yeah.
people lose that.
Oh, sure.
I think you should do
But
shirts.
some people would keep it, and then like 6 years from now, they'd be like, "Yeah, remember that Dylan C's poem giveaway? I got it."
like a neon sign,
That's pretty expensive. I don't think they're giving that away.
a mug with it, like
There you
a
go.
beer stein with the slider slide on it.
Perfect.
This is it, a disc golf. And with it on the
Frisbee, or just one
That
of them like plastic,
But
you
that
know,
would-
party favor frisbees.
That
yeah.
would end up on the outfield.
Oh, yeah.
That
They
would-
would all end. It would, but imagine walk-off home run, how cool that would be.
That's true.
Everybody
That's
throwing it
fun
out there
for-
on the field.
But disc and that field don't go well together. Last time we had a lot of disc in that building, it was a demolition. So different kind of disc, but you know.
Sure.
Anyways, that's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. It's not vinyl disc, but it's more plastic disc. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you to Joey for producing the show. And thank you to Anzia or whoever Shah is for saying you guys are hard to listen to.
Thanks for
Appreciate you.
listening, though.
Shout out. Talk to you guys tomorrow.